and welcome to Plant-Based Cooking with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Cheryl Henderson, and today's lesson is with Chef Kimberly McNair Brock from Biddy's Living Kitchen. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. Since the pandemic began, AARP Alabama has continued to provide opportunities for people to stay engaged from home. The plant based cooking series provides an opportunity for you to learn about new recipes and the safety of your home. Hi, Chef. What do you have planned for us today?
Hi, today we have wild mushroom pasta.
That sounds delicious. Folks, before we get started, I'd like to remind you to please complete the survey after the program to let us know what you think. You can find the link on the chat box. All right, Chef Kim, take it away.
Well, hello everybody. Today is something that anybody can do. It's quick, it's simple, and it's really hearty plant-based dish. So we're starting out today with a couple of different kinds of mushrooms. I've got baby portobello and shiitake mushrooms. I'm sorry. And so I'm going to cut this on. Just thinking I should have had that on. But you can use any kind of mushrooms, like whatever your favorite mushrooms are. So oyster mushrooms would be fantastic in this. Some chanterelles. So somebody tell me in the comments what some of your favorite mushrooms are. I'm going to go ahead and get some of these started in the pan. Should have had that on a little bit. But if you watched before, we talk about destemming the mushrooms and keeping the stems. So I'm keeping the stems in a little Ziploc bag. That's great to go in the freezer. You can use this to flavor your stocks, your broth, anything like if you're making a soup or something where you want to have a little umami flavor and you need to make a quick broth. So we're just going to chop these mushrooms really thin, and you can do them any kind of way you want, but this just kind of helps them to cook a little faster with the surface area. And this is also a low oil or no oil dish. So people that are concerned about having the oils in their food and their cooking and want to control that, this is a good way to keep from doing that. So basically, pan is hot and you put your mushrooms in and you're just kind of searing them, but you're pulling the moisture out of the mushrooms. So we got quite a bit of prep to do today, so we're just going to keep going. So we've got scallions and regular onions. And with the scallions, you've got two parts. You've got your green and your white. So we're going to add the white parts of the scallions to the dish now. And I just like to kind of cut them on the bias a little bit. Okay. Add them to the bowl. And you're going to add the green parts at the end so that they stay nice and bright on top of the dish. Adds a little pop of color there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the green onions so they'll be ready when we get ready to add them. And I like to sort of leave these long. So I'm going to cut these in a different direction. Kind of slicing or shredding them, so to speak. And you could just do larger bias on the bias pieces as well. You don't have to cut them that way. And cut them down like that. We're Gonna stir our mushrooms up a little bit. Just dropping them everywhere. So they are starting to wilt and draw out some moisture. Okay. And you want to just add a little bit of salt, granulated garlic, it's great, and pepper to the dish. And the salt helps to pull that moisture out as well. Add a little bit of salt to them. Pink Himalayan sea salt. All right. Now, I'm going to also use some yellow onions. Okay. I have one already peeled here. And we're going to slice this thinly. And everything is cut julienne. And julienne basically is like strips. That's the size. Okay. All right. Once that wilts down, we can add the onions to it. It's coming wilting down pretty well. All right. Stir it a little bit more and then go ahead and add the onions in. Smells delicious already. So what are some of y'all's favorite mushrooms to use? Add the onions in. Let them kind of sear on the pan there. And I've got 4 cloves of garlic. They're pretty big cloves. I may just use 3. And I love garlic, so you might only use 2, but I love it. So we've got the peeling on it here. And so if you just kind of smash the garlic with your knife and your forehand, just come right on off. Real easy. Okay.
So some people said their favorites are baby bellas, and other people said they like all kinds of mushrooms. One question is, do they have to have a non-stick pan to use this recipe?
No, I have used the cast iron skillet actually to do it, but of course the skillet's well seasoned. Um, if you are doing oil free, that is kind of what you want to focus on. So this is a non-stick, but I don't think it's called non-stick. It's one of those new pans. But like I said, I've used a cast iron skillet to do it, and you can certainly use something like that. Something that you could control it with. And if you use just a regular, stainless steel pan, you can, you're just going to have to stay with the pan the whole time, moving the mushrooms around so that they don't stick and burn.
Okay, someone else wants to know, why don't you use the stems?
I do use the stems later. You can also use them not just for broth, but you can use them in a soup or make a cream of mushroom soup. But I just don't use them in the cooking. The shiitake mushroom stems are very woody, and you wouldn't want to use them.
Right, those I usually, when I use shiitake, I take my stems out.
I'm sorry, this stove is so loud. What did you say?
I said yes, I take the stems out when I use shiitake.
Yes. So that's coming along really nicely there. I'm going to add this minced garlic in. Got a little big piece there. Needed chopping. Add our garlic in. And like I said, there's plenty of moisture in here already from the mushrooms and now the onions. So there's a lot of liquid. So basically what it's doing is sweating, and you're sweating the vegetables down. So, all right. So now we're going to add our thyme and oregano. I've got some oregano already chopped here. I'm going to destem this. And these are huge oregano leaves. I think fresh herbs and spices can really make a dish. And it's just my go-to. So I'm going to chop these up and add it to the other herbs. And I'm not opposed to dry, but it's just when you're cooking live food, it just really makes a difference. And add this to the pan along with the other that I chopped earlier. It smells so good. It smells like somebody's garden, herb garden. So here I have some fresh thyme. Add a little bit more, just destem it and take the thyme leaves off the stem. Okay. And these stems for the thyme are really tender. So if you happen to get some of the stem of the thyme, it's okay. It's okay. Okay. And then we're going to chop that up. Nothing like fresh thyme. But you could use whatever kind of herb in this that you like. You could use fresh parsley. You could even use sage. Whatever your favorites are. If you were making a like a light creamy sauce, you could even use something like a little bit of tarragon. Add these herbs to it. All right. All right. Stir this around a little bit. Don't want it to stick. And of course, you know, if you're cooking on a gas stove, you're going to have totally different surface area, which kind of is a nice touch. So here are our noodles. Again, you can use whatever kind of noodles you like. I love linguine, but you can also use spaghetti. I've done this with spaghetti. You can use short pasta like a penne. That's my favorite short pasta. So I'm gonna add that to it and stir it around a little bit. And we're going to add some liquid to this. So I cooked the pasta already, but I saved the pasta water. Okay. And to the pasta water, I'm going to add a little bit of chickpea miso. So there's all types of miso out there. You can use some that have soy in it, but this one does not have soy in it. And this is fermented, but it is not pasteurized. So this has all kind of probiotics in the dish. It also helps to add, giving you that umami flavor that some people maybe feel like they're missing without eating meat, a meatless meal. Get liquid going in here. So just stirring this up a bit. And we're going to add the miso and the pasta water little by little to this. And you want to cook your pasta al dente because it's going to continue to cook in the sauce. And at each part, you want to add some more of your seasonings to it. So add your salt, your garlic powder, your pepper, whatever seasoning profile that you like. It may sound a little crazy, but a little lemon pepper might even be good here. Just like a little touch of acid. would be good.
There's a question about why did you cook the mushrooms before you cook the
Before I
garlic?
cook
The
the
garlic.
garlic,
Yes. Why did you do
because
the
I didn't want the garlic to burn, and
Okay.
so the garlic really kind of stayed. It stayed, it more or less steamed with the rest of the vegetables because it didn't get burned by cooking it first and then cooking the onions and just kind of overcooking it. So, but I
And
cooked the mushrooms first in the pan, so nothing was in the pan because I wanted to pull the moisture out of the mushrooms. So by
so
sprouting the pan with other items, I wouldn't have been able to do
okay.
that very well.
And how high is the heat in the burner?
It's still really high. Um, this is an induction burner, so this is not what you would have at home. So, but when I had it with the mushrooms, I had it on the highest setting that it could be on because I wanted to pull the moisture out. So,
So that's what sweating
but
is.
I've turned it down some now. It's still on high, but it might be medium on a regular stove at your home.
If you were looking for miso in the grocery store, what aisle would you find it?
It is a refrigerated product. Um, I have only seen it at places like Whole Foods. Uh, but this particular one they used to carry, and now they don't. They do carry miso, but now I just get it straight from the company. And the name of the company is Miso Master.
Miso
So
Master.
Miso Master.
And what
So I
flavor?
mentioned, I'm sorry,
What flavor did you use again?
this is a chickpea miso because we try to
Chickpea.
do everything soy free with Bitty's Living Kitchen. So this is just going to be a little dash of white balsamic vinegar. I mentioned to you a second ago something about adding a lemon just to brighten the dish up. So that's kind of what this will do.
Can like spaghetti squash instead of the noodles?
Can you add squash? Absolutely.
No, use a spaghetti squash. You know how you use
Oh,
the
oh, you could. It's just going to make the dish sweet. If I was going to add that, I would maybe do zucchini noodles or something like that. But you certainly can if you're a fan of spaghetti squash. You know. So I'm going to go ahead now and add our green onions. And like I said, I like my vegetables to still kind of be crunchy. So, all right. Just going to kind of smother and steam them in the pan with everything. And it's really close to being done, folks. The pasta, like I said, was cooked al dente or under al dente because it's continuing to cook here in this pasta water. It's not a really big saucy dish. You can definitely add more of your pasta water if you want more of a brothy dish. And to sort of finish it off, okay, to sort of finish it off, I'm going to add some spinach because it's another great way to get your greens in. One big handful should do. Just want to chop through it a little bit. It's going to wilt in the pasta. I always like to add spinach inside the dish. Season this as well. Okay. And once this wilts down, we're really close to plating, folks. And you just really want to just turn the hot over into the cold spinach. And like I said, this is something really quick. If you got these ingredients at home, I think the biggest or the longest thing might be you're chopping your mushrooms or cooking your pasta. So, but while your water's boiling and your pasta's cooking, you could chop all these other ingredients, and it would go really, really quickly. So, all right. Okay, and it's going to continue to wilt. So we're going to grab our pan, clear out some things, and go for plating. All right. Okay, and one of the notes, optional notes, was Parmesan. So this is some vegan parm that you can add to the dish. All right. And then on top of that, we're going to add a little fresh ground black pepper, which always makes it nice. And that's it. Our wild mushroom pasta.
Thanks, Kim. That dish looks scrumptious. Thanks for joining us. Please stay around for our upcoming events video. And remember to join us March 25th for the next episode of Plant Based Cooking. I'm ready to eat. I can smell those spices right now. Have a great weekend. Thanks again, Kim.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.